I'm Kimberly of Happy Gals Vintage. Thanks for tuning in to watch this video today about tiny teapots. Today's video is a lot of fun for me because tiny teapots are very popular in our Happy Gals Vintage shop, and they have been for years. So whenever I can get a hold of more vintage tiny teapots to put in our shop, I definitely do so. And recently we acquired a whole bunch, a really nice collection of vintage porcelain and metal teapots. And so I thought it would be kind of fun to do a quick video and just kind of show you what we have. Right now in front of me, you can see that I have quite the collection of little porcelain and metal teapots, and quite a variety as well. And each of them that I have in front of me is unique. Almost all of them are for sale. There's a couple that I'm going to show you that are from my own personal collection because I personally love tiny teapots also. So I thought it'd be fun to show you just two that I have kept. You know, when you're a vintage and antique dealer, so many amazing things come in and out of your space that it's very easy to way over collect things if you're not careful. And so I'm very selective on the items that I decide to keep for my own collection. And two of those items that are in my own collection just happen to be tiny teapots. I have this little tiny porcelain teapot that is shaped like a tomato and the stem of the tomato is the top handle for the lid. It's just so cute, and I'm quite the avid gardener, and so I just couldn't pass it up when I saw it. And then once I did have it, I just couldn't let it go. I couldn't sell it in my shop. So it's part of my collection. And then this other little teapot, something about the color, this beautiful blue and the shape and the flowers, I just love it. And as soon as I saw it, I just knew I had to have it, and I had planned on selling it in Happy Gals Vintage. But again, I couldn't let it go. So those are two that are part of my personal collection. And I just showing you those for fun. But the rest of the teapots that are on this table are all available. And I put some larger teapots on the table just so that you would have sort of a reference for size, so you could get a sense. Like this is a teapot by Hall, and it's really a nice one, and it's for sale in our Happy Gals Vintage shop. And there will be links in the description below this video to our Happy Gals Vintage shop, as well as the individual products that I talk about in the video, such as this Hull teapot. And you'll be able to just click right on the link, take you right to the shop where you can check out more, get more information about the products and purchase them if you're interested. Some of these little teapots I already have listed in the Happy Gals Vintage shop at the time that I'm shooting this video. For instance, this beautiful little one with the pink roses is in Happy Gals Vintage right now. This little miniature Moriage dragon teapot from Japan, it's from the 1940s, is also up for sale right now in the Happy Gals Vintage shop. This little metal teapot, which is so unique with this sort of styling, almost like a Matisse painting. It's so fun and different. And this one is also in our shop right now. And many others are also in the shop right now. And even if they aren't in the shop yet, they will be very shortly. So we're working to get them listed. You know, we like to take really nice photographs for you so you can really see what it is you're purchasing, and then give you a really good description. It's almost just like you're there in the antique shop or in Happy Gals Vintage in person, you know, checking out the item. That's what we like to do in our Etsy shop. We try to give you a shot of every angle, you know, really talk about the product, give you the dimensions, give you the materials that it's made out of, the maker, all that kind of information, so that you can make a really informed decision when you're adding gorgeous items to your collection. This is one of my favorites of the tiny teapots that we have right now. It has violets. This one's from Nantucket, or from the company Nantucket, and they make a lot of really beautiful little porcelain items, and teapots especially. They make just gorgeous teapots. And this one is in our shop. It's so beautiful and so fun. The really incredible thing about little tiny teapots is that, much like a very fine teapot, like for instance this one by Sadler, this is a new teapot. Well, no, it's a vintage teapot, but it's new to Happy Gals Vintage, our shop. Actually, it's so new I haven't even listed it yet in the shop, but it will be there very soon. And you know, the quality, Sadler teapots, the company that makes them, they are just known for this exceptionally fine quality, really beautifully made porcelain teapots. And what I love about tiny teapots is you get that same kind of quality, but just in a diminutive size. They're still made out of this really fine porcelain. They have the gorgeous gold detailing, the really intricate little design work on the teapot, and they also will have the maker's name in most cases, not in all cases. Just like teacups, you know, some of them will list the maker and some of them won't. Tiny teapots are just this amazing little miniature version of a larger vintage teapot. One of the things that I think makes little tiny teapots so collectible is that they're just affordable and they don't take up a lot of room. So you can have, you know, a very large collection of teapots of different styles and not spend a whole lot of money. I also included a couple of teapots that are actually little trinket boxes, Limoges style trinket boxes. This one is already up in Happy Gals Vintage. This one I haven't listed yet. If you are someone who collects little Limoges trinket boxes, you might be interested in these because these are pretty adorable. This little set I don't have listed in the shop yet, but I will very soon. I love this because it has these sculpted flowers, sculpted rose. This particular teapot also comes with its own little matching sugar bowl with a lid and a little matching creamer. And they're all in just such nice condition. They're just so beautiful. So this one will be up in the shop soon. Lots of fun. I know someone's gonna want this to be part of their collection. This one here is really unique. This one is up in the Happy Gals Vintage shop right now. And it's sort of this periwinkle bluish purple color. It was hard for me to decide exactly how to describe it when I was listing it in the Happy Gals Vintage shop. But it's so pretty, and it has this sort of, it's metal, like I said, and it has this design of stylized pink and yellow flowers. And the shape is really unique. I just love this one. It's really a lot of fun. I pretty much just wanted to do a quick check-in with you to give you a little shop update of what's going on right now. And what's going on right now is little mini teapots. Here's another one that we are having in our shop right now. It's already listed. It's really a little bit larger than some of them, but it has just this really classic blue and white design with the gold detailing. And this one is by Windsor. It does have the maker's mark on the bottom. You know, Windsor is known for making really fine porcelain items. And I do want to thank you so much for watching this video today. And if you liked this video, please click the like button for us. It really helps out the channel, and it helps out our business, Happy Gals Vintage, as well. And I want to remind you that there's a link in the description below this video to go to Happy Gals Vintage. You can check out the tiny teapots. And in the description of this video, I'm also going to have a link that goes right to the tiny teapots section of our Happy Gals Vintage online store. So it's very simple to see everything that we have listed right away. Now, if you like watching videos about different vintage and antique items like teapots and tiny teapots and teacups and figurines, then you should definitely think about subscribing to our channel, and that way you'll be able to watch a lot more videos about these fun things that we are always talking about here at Happy Gals Vintage. And I also have other videos. I have a whole series about how to be happy, and I have videos about my other two Etsy shops. I have a shop called Elements 5 and I have a shop called Crystal Wand Maker, and I sell crystal wands that are handmade, one of a kind, and handmade one of a kind crystal jewelry, and lots of amazing artwork and other artistic items as well. And the jewelry that I am wearing in this video are all items that are available right now in our Elements 5 shop. And so there will be links in the description below this video also for all of the jewelry items that I am wearing for this video. And last thing, before I sign off today on this video, I just want to take a moment to thank all of our customers for Happy Gals Vintage. You guys are amazing, and I appreciate it more than I can possibly tell you. And also the customers for Crystal Wand Maker and for Elements 5. And some of the customers shop in more than one of the shops, and you guys are just great, and I couldn't do any of this without you, and I absolutely love what I am doing. And so thank you so very, very much, and I hope you have a really awesome day. Hey guys, it's Kimberly again. After I got done shooting the video about tiny teapots, I remembered that there was a story that I wanted to share with you all. Another reason why tiny teapots are so near and dear to my heart, and it has to do with how Happy Gals Vintage got started all those years ago. So I started Happy Gals Vintage in 2014, and at the time I had been selling on Etsy for a few years already, mostly just my paintings and a few other handmade items, but I had never sold any vintage or antique items at all in my life, and I really didn't even know that much about them. The only history I had with any kind of porcelain items or little collectible items was from time I had spent with my grandmother as a little girl growing up in California. My grandma Della had some little tiny porcelain collectibles that she kept on a shelf in her house, in her living room, and when I would come over to visit, she would let me look at them sometimes. And so I had this special place in my heart because I loved my grandma Della very much, and so I associated those types of things with her and still do. But other than that, I really had no experience with vintage items or antique items before I started Happy Gals Vintage. And the crazy way it started was actually from a dream. One morning, very early in the morning, you know how sometimes you're just waking up and you're sort of half awake and half asleep, and you're dreaming, you're kind of going in and out of consciousness? Well, that's how I was that morning. And I was having a dream about a little shop that I had, a little online shop called Tiny and Beautiful. And all I sold in the shop was little mini teapots and little tiny teacups and little miniature figurines. And in the dream, I was having a lot of fun with it, and my shop was just full of all these little items, and it was doing really well. And when I woke up, it was so real to me that I thought to myself, that is so neat that I'm doing that. And then as I woke up, I thought, you're not doing that. You don't have a shop. And in the dream, the shop was called Tiny and Beautiful. And so when I woke up, I looked up online to see, is there an online shop called Tiny and Beautiful? Is there somebody else doing this already? Like maybe I had seen it and forgot I saw it, and so that's why I had the dream. But there was nobody out there called Tiny and Beautiful, and there was no one on Etsy called Tiny and Beautiful. So just out of nowhere, in the spur of the moment, I started an Etsy shop called Tiny and Beautiful that very day. And I went into town to the little antique store we have right in town, and I only had a few dollars that I just found around the house. And I bought a handful of little items from the antique store, solely based on what I liked. That was it. And I came back home and I listed them on my Etsy shop, my new Etsy shop. I listed the products. And that very night I got my first sale. The very first sale I ever got was a little brass pony. And it was very cute. That was my very first sale. And after that, I really never looked back. I did start the shop with mostly little items. You know, I would carry a lot of like little demi-tasse teacups and mini teapots and little figurines and things. But as time went by, within I think a year and a half or 2 years of opening the business, I realized I was carrying a lot more things that weren't just tiny, but were also vintage and antique and also made of porcelain. So I was and also crystal. So I was carrying larger vases and larger teapots, and even some teacups. You wouldn't consider them tiny. And so that's when I decided to change the name from Tiny and Beautiful to Happy Gals Vintage. And the reason I changed it to Happy Gals Vintage was that at the time, my daughter Amber was working with me a lot in the shop and working with me a lot to go out and find the items in antique stores and flea markets and thrift shops. And we were just having a ball shopping for stuff for the shop, for the Etsy shop. And so that's why I decided to change the name to Happy Gals Vintage, because Amber and I are the happy gals buying the vintage things for the shop. So anyway, I just wanted to share that story with you because I think it's kind of fun. And it's just another reason why I love tiny teapots, because they were in a dream what really got me started in this whole Happy Gals Vintage thing that I'm doing now, that I love so much. And I've spent years now learning as much as I can about porcelain items and all these wonderful collectible things that I sell in my shop from really amazing makers from all over the world. So thanks for watching to the end of this video and staying for my little story about how Happy Gals Vintage got going. And I hope you have a great rest of your day.